Hold hand. Oh, no, this is not cock time. This is hand time. Hey, it's Ronald off the record. I'm going to be reacting to the 4th episode of Heated Rivalry called Rose, I believe. I've been really enjoying this show. Who am I? I am a lawyer and an activist with the civil rights group BAM, By Any Means Necessary, and I do videos on entertainment I enjoy. I am known as the Byler lawyer, someone who is protesting the injustice of the queer baiting we just received around not having Byler, the Mike and Will romance in Stranger Things. And I'm watching this kind of as a way to recover from that drama. I'm still going to make video content about Stranger Things, by the way, and a couple more on Byler, for people wondering. I don't just react to things, I also like to theorize and make predictions. But my guess is that we had that episode with Scott Hunter because there's going to be a love triangle. And I'm just going to say this stuff, try to get it out of the way because I could be completely wrong. A love triangle where Scott and Shane are seeing each other. And I believe Scott suspects already that Shane and Ilya are seeing each other. And Shane is going to turn to Scott because Ilya is being closed off. And I think that Ilya is dealing with... He's just had a huge amount of success. Now, Stanley Cup winner, MVP. And what he's dealing with is not pressure from his family and his country. Well, he is. But it's not the idea of doing poorly that's eating at him. It's the fact that I think what happened was that after they had full-blown sex, that they both fell more deeply in love with each other, and that Ilya does not like the fact that I assume he's bisexual and plans to marry a woman. I think that he's in a crisis because he realized then that he loves Shane more than he would love any other woman that he knows. And he wants to keep that emotional distance. That's my theory. And that Shane being mistreated or having this lack of emotional connection with Ilya is going to go towards Scott, who I think is going to be relatively superficial, is my theory. That's my thoughts in a nutshell. I said more at the end of the post-analysis in episode 3. So I think that's it. I think we're going to jump into the episode. I would also add that I think Shane and Ilya complement each other better. They are yin and yang. Whereas Scott's kind of vanilla, bland to me. That's what I think. So we'll see if this triangle that I'm theorizing ever pans out, because I'm not always right about my predictions about relationships. And in the case of Mike and Will and Stranger Things, it was not my fault because the show prepared that. They just queerbaited us. Okay, moving on. Episode 4. I'm not even looking at the thumbnail. No thumbnail. Here we go.
Previously on Heated Rivalry.
Why the fuck did you think it was okay to sex me before the game?
You didn't answer my text.
Go away, Hollander. We are not anything.
I need you.
Shane's in love with Ilya, and he accepted that he's in love with him. I don't know. I gotta say, this show does the sex great, but the emotional thing between Shane and Ilya is it for me. I mean, Ilya's closed off, but on Shane's part, just seeing how he looks at Ilya, how his eyes, you see it. It's intense. Oh, and I was gonna say, this isn't what one would expect from this show. Real love being portrayed, and a kind of sensitive and beautiful way, in my opinion, I think. Which, you know, was... I'm gonna keep talking about Stranger Things, I'm sorry. But if Mike and Will had that heroic love, while also fighting monsters and saving the world, that would have been chef's kiss. I'm still bitter, and I don't think I'll ever stop being bitter.
Having a good night? That's nice. Think there's still time for a hat trick.
The Montreal captain wants this whole night back.
Okay, so they're cordial with each other still, I suppose. I guess that was sports trash talk. I thought that, you know, was hostility there, but I guess it was sports trash talk if they're texting. Ooh, those are some... It's a lot of weight. So, Oh my god. There's something a little off. Okay, I've displayed my dislike towards his mother. But for him to be for her to say, like, when reading Rolex's email, handsome, and saying, "Oh, that's an understatement," about her own son, and then to be specifically involved in updating the wetness of his shirt. I'm not saying there's anything more than what we've seen on the screen, but it just seems that's just too much. Like, get away from me, mama. All right. Okay, so, all right. Shane never communicated that he was unhappy about that encounter, but I'm wondering what the sex is like now, and here's a little flash. Ah! Hollander won the cup?
For the first time in 16 years, the Montreal Metros are hoisting the MSB for Captain Shane Hollander.
Aw, Ilya was happy for him. Aw. Shane's studying while he's having a wild life. A straight life in Russia. Is that an underwear commercial? So they're kissing again. So I'm not sure what happened. Is there... They set up something at the end of episode 2, but it seems to have been resolved. I'm gonna just note that. I'm critical of my own previous reactions of pausing too much. I'm just gonna see if there's gonna be any... because sometimes things become clearer later. So we'll see.
Not since Chicago in the late 90s have we seen a team take home back-to-back cups.
Oh, wow. Wow, 8 years have passed. So much time. Like, how do they have a second season if it's like 8 years and 3 episodes? It's so crazy that all the queers are winning every year. What is this, 3 years in a row where Ilya or Shane led the championship team as their captain? But what I can tell, it's just sex. I mean, it's still kissy sex, but it's not romance that we're seeing right now. It's like they're getting sexual release. Montage, montage. more lightning and thunder with Shane Hollander. That looked like a commercial that was aired a few years ago. Alright. So they've gone from love to enemies, quote unquote, in terms of the sport, just like egging each other on. What's gonna happen? This is what, 2 years later?
She's what?
Pregnant. Jack is pregnant.
Again?
Again?
She's around, you know? We do couple stuff. It'd be fun.
We're not... I mean, she's... I don't see her anymore. I think she's engaged or something.
Jackie is his friend, right?
Hey,
This is what it's like at the closet. Everyone's trying to set you up. Or everyone asks you, oh, anyway, all those little interactions that happen. I don't envy him.
tell your dad to leave me alone.
Shane Hollander's Fortress of Solitude.
It's my favorite place on earth.
And my parents' cottage, the one I grew up spending my summers at, is 10 minutes away.
Ты с кем-то сейчас встречаешься?
Ревнуешь?
Нет. Ты же
She
не
wouldn't
знаешь.
be. Someone could relate it to Scott the way she relates to Ilya, just casual, you know? But then maybe Scott wouldn't have been for that because Scott saw the world in Kip. I don't know. It was a trap for both of them because Kip is the only person Scott has been able to be himself with. Not even Jane.
Что? Вы уже несколько лет
You've been texting for
переписываетесь. Я
years.
думала, может быть, это что-то серьезное или что.
I thought she knew that Ilya and Sasha had sex. That was my guess. And so I'm thinking that she knows he's at least bi. Also, my theory of them setting up Hunter to like be a triangle is kind of doesn't seem to be happening because I thought they were setting up for something to happen in 2014, but they skipped 2 years. So
Lily's just a buddy?
What?
Yeah, chill out, man. I know you text some girl named Lily.
I don't.
Okay, go get laid, weirdo.
well, don't deny it. It's looking worse if you deny it. Shane did kind of want to talk.
I should go.
Or you could stay.
Shane's the one who wants to go now? I'm confused. Kiss! Stay over!
Stay.
Alright, I'm gonna do something weird and double check I'm in episode 4. It seemed like we skipped a problem, and I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going.
Not like Ottawa. Because
This is like their first, like, domestic conversation, I think.
it's my hometown. Toronto, Winnipeg, I'm happy they have a team again. What? Are those boring answers?
Did Shane know that he's bi and into girls? Shane hasn't heard him being with anyone else until now. So this isn't just, oh, he's like bi and not really quote unquote into me, which is an anti-bi thing to say. But oh, just period, being into someone else. This is the first time this has happened.
Cool. And she likes you very much. Oh,
This is the friend we've seen.
that's nice. First.
Shane and Ilya have had more than a few encounters per year, so Shane's like thinking, yeah, that's what I said. They were just kind of having sex and kind of saying this wasn't serious, but ooh,
Sounds perfect.
Shane
for you.
wants this to be more. Why are they having these
No, stay.
meaningful looks? My goodness. You're breaking Shane's heart right now. But then, you know, still at the same time, Ilya's opening up. Like, who does he open up to, period? Well, I mean, he's sharing things he probably tells his close friends.
You like them?
He's spending daytime with you, Shane. Don't freak out too
Girls.
much.
Of course.
Of course not, I'm boring.
Not as person. You say that because you have something more with Shane. Everything Ilya's saying suggests that Shane is just one of several people he sleeps with. But at the same time, there's more going on Ilya's end. Also, they've been having sex for 6, 7, 8 years and haven't learned some basic things about each other. I'm just thinking of that fact. All this time has passed, and this is Shane's first time hearing some things about Ilya.
Полина там?
Полина, она твоя жена, папа.
What's wrong with his dad?
Хорошо. Успокойся.
His dad, I mean, when Ilya gave a cup to the dad, it seemed like his dad was not mentally well. And there's a reference too about losing his wife, Ilya's mother.
I speak Russian now.
I know the word for father.
Oh my god! That Oh. Kiss him on the head. There's a couple. He cares about you. Hold hand. Oh, no, this is not cock time. This is hand time. Oh, he's going for cock. No, thigh? I'm confused. I wanted a handhold. But I guess he's horny. He's always kept his nightmare with his family and his dad secret. I don't think he's shared that with his friend, the female friend, or anybody. And just Shane expressing, you know, how's your dad? That's broken a wall with Ilya.
I should go. I should go. I'm sorry. I can't do this.
He doesn't want to be like another girl. You know, he doesn't want to... Well, he's sleeping around, I suppose. I don't know.
Alejandra.
I'm sorry.
Are we expecting someone else?
Oh no, it's just the three of us.
All right. I think Shane Hollander should have gone for the hand hold instead of the dick hold. Because, I don't know. There was an emotional connection that they could have had at that moment, but it still seemed like an emotional sex scene that just happened. But it was, you know, just kind of more on the sexual instead of on the emotional side still. And Shane is worried. He wants something more... He wants to be boyfriends. And not just another sexual encounter. But, you know, jacking him off was what they've been doing. It cheapened it a bit. All right. It's interesting to see Ilya to be the more emotionally reaching out person.
Expecting someone else?
Oh no, it's just the three of us. Thank you. Honey, have you decided about Wimbledon? Rolex really wants you there. I think they're worried their box is too Tennessee, I think.
Does that mean too white?
Shane,
Yeah?
is everything all right?
He's just like trying to shut off Ilya and all the thoughts and just be on his
Why? Because I
training.
don't want wine?
I think a little trip to London next summer for Wimbledon, just the three of us, would be fun.
You
Go to
two
a
are
play,
suffocating.
See Big Ben. You loved it when you were a kid.
He's not interested in the Swedish princess. They're gonna try to hook him up with the girl.
Do you have any ginger ale?
I mean, I do, but...
Actually, just a beer, please, whatever you have.
Rose. It's called Rose. Is that the name of the actress?
I'm Rose, by the way.
I'm Shane. I'm a big fan.
No, don't go to the dark side, Shane. Are you going to the dark side? The straight side? I thought you didn't have any interest in girls.
Okay. Your turn.
Maybe she's someone he'll come out to. That's another theory.
Well, I've
Because she's shared a secret, so maybe he'll share a secret.
never kidnapped.
I think she's trying to flirt with him a little, but I don't think he's
So,
flirting with her.
Are you gonna be in town a little while this time?
No! Is he on the dark side? We'll see. Alas, I was wrong about Shane. Maybe he's got some buy in him, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe he's figuring it out. Maybe he's trying to see if it would work out if he has because if he's not, then it's all about Ilya, and maybe that's too much for him. He's got to feel like he has more of a, you know, he wants to be more as casual as Ilya seems to be about his relationship with Ilya. Are they touching fingers, hands? Oh, he's putting on social media? Is he doing this to make him jealous?
I know, right? She's like a huge fucking movie star. How the fuck?
Wait, that's not right, though. Don't do it just to... Don't use her like that.
On to say, I'd be fucking happy if I was
Is Ilya
Rose
jealous?
Landry?
Welcome to some new feelings, Ilya. They are deliberately being seen.
And there's Rose Landry wearing a Shane Hollander jersey. That's gonna upset some Detroit fans.
Why is he posed like that? Is that a thing you do in hockey, first of all? I don't know if we're gonna get a flashback later about where he comes out to her and asks her to be his beard, you know, the woman that he can use to protect his straight reputation. I don't know. I'm just gonna accept the narrative as it is, and I will unpause. I guess that is a hockey pose. Look at what number 7 is doing.
Seems to be getting a reaction.
Clearly, this is not... I don't know if they had sex or anything, but this show has shown us nothing of their chemistry beyond just, you know, night conversations with wine and touching their hands. That's it!
The Metro's bench.
I do not accept this. This pairing just cured my seasonal depression. You can feel the chemistry through the screen. As a Byler survivor, for people to say that Mike and Elle had chemistry when they were 11 years old or just standing near each other, it's just such a bias when a boy and girl are near each other that, ooh, they're meant to be. But you can have tons of chemistry between two people of the same sex and it's seen, and you're called delusional for thinking there's chemistry.
Good Rose.
I'm a little sympathetic with Ilya here because Ilya slept around, but whoever he slept with is not like on the news. Of course they're arch rival teams. They're in the same division.
But we'll see what Ilya Rozanov has to say about that.
Okay, I guess they haven't had sex yet because we would have seen that. This show would have shown that. I guess they're just dating.
Boston Raiders.
He's not gonna look at him.
Shots on goal in the third period.
If you can call 1-0 a victory.
This is love. This is love.
Tonight, but where on the ice was
Not healthy love, I have to say, but it's love. The game's over.
Montreal. We find the fucking club.
Tell people.
We must go. I must fuck. It's gonna have to be with the girl because... What?
Hi, handsome.
Oh. Are they in the same club? Are we
babe.
dealing with fictional coincidences?
No, it wasn't.
I guess it's like the it place to
It
be.
wasn't, but
I don't see any real attraction from Shane towards her. What was that? He was signaling? About those two? That's a little weird, but... So he's iffy about dancing. He's not into this at all. She's much more into him. Who's this guy? What's going on? Does he symbolize their gay conscience or something? Is he a real person? I don't know. Why would you openly dance with a star as a man while he's dancing with someone else, moreover? I don't know. Ilya's gonna continue to do so. Ugh. He's not into it. He's thinking about Shane. You're not even looking at her. It's pretty clear what was going on there. They were thinking of each other. And the talk of the other girls that he slept with by Ilya made Shane withdraw because he just feels like he wants it to be more. He wants to be boyfriends, but he's thinking Ilya's bisexual and is never going to be loyal to him, though that's a myth. Shane is... I don't know. I feel like it's all about Ilya right now. Hello, Patreon supporters. I am now going to read comments about after my reaction to episode 4 of Heated Rivalry. And I record this a week after reacting to the episode. I have a lot going on, including scripting and planning out my first of probably 3 post-finale scripted videos critiquing Stranger Things. Well, actually, the second one is not a critique. It's my Bylergate theory. But anyway, took a lot of work. And so I may need help remembering what happened in this episode. In fact, let me look at my notes. I wrote some notes. This is the one where Ilya and Shane seemed to grow a little closer, but then Shane got jealous, I think. I could be simplifying it, of Ilya sleeping around, and particularly with women. And they're trying to make each other jealous or something. Again, I don't really remember this episode super well. Maybe the comments will help me remember. Chris says, Ilya's conversation with Shane on the couch reveals a vulnerable shift in their dynamic. Yes. That was when Shane recognized the Russian word for dad and made clear he's understanding that Ilya might be dealing with drama in the family. And Ilya, like, oh, it kind of brought them closer. Rather than playing games or trying to spark jealousy, Ilya is genuinely trying to gauge Shane's feelings. Having accepted his own deeper feelings for Shane, Ilya uses his own sexual history as an example, hoping that by opening up, Shane will do the same. Interesting. Because I was thinking Ilya is still struggling to open up emotionally. And I don't know. I'll finish your comment. I don't believe it was the topic of other women that drove Shane away. It was the intimacy of the moment, especially the use of the first names for the first time. Oh, they used each other's first names. It made their connection too real to ignore. I really think that while Shane feels safe longing for Ilya from a distance, the vulnerability of a shared intimate experience was too terrifying for him. I think so many people feel for Shane when he's hurting, as they should, but Ilya's hurt is often overlooked. By asking Shane to stay after inviting him to his home, not a hotel room, stalking the ginger ale beforehand because he knows how much Shane loves it, and opening up about his past, Ilya was being uncharacteristically vulnerable. It had to hurt him deeply when Shane walked out on him to then immediately get involved in a very public relationship. Quick note, when Miles waved to Ilya at the bar, I'm trying to remember who's Miles, Ilya immediately recognizes him as Rose's close friend. That is why he quickly turns and scans the room to see if Shane is there. Shane does the same thing when he sees Ilya's teammates at the club. All right, well, I have to say, I'm challenged by this comment because it's different readings from what I had. I always thought that Shane was the one who's more accepting that he has feelings and loves Ilya more than Ilya. And so I don't know. I'll think about it. This is another way to read it. And I don't know, I feel like if Ilya were going to talk about other women, I don't know if it came across as opening up. I thought it just sounded like he saw the relationship as more casual because it's like he was just so matter of fact about it. And he wasn't saying, are you okay about it? Just so you know, because I have to think that Ilya would think that someone would be kind of like, oh, he's sleeping around. I don't know. That's what my brain is telling me. But you're introducing this idea that Shane is afraid to connect and afraid of the intimacy of the moment. His dating the woman is also, I guess, a sign of like fear of getting closer. Though, I don't know. It's like two parallel stories here. I thought it was him just trying to make Ilya jealous. My theory was that he had heard that Ilya was sleeping with other people, and Shane had been kind of emotionally and sexually faithful to Ilya and wanted to have some kind of that there was some kind of inequality in the relationship. And so Shane, decided to have his own romantic life outside of Ilya. Brooks says, about your comment on the "we didn't even kiss" conflict, Shane was and still is freaked out by how emotionally vulnerable and affected he is by Ilya and their situation. He fears this emotional intimacy and doesn't want to acknowledge that he misses it when it's absent. They've been hooking up around 7 years already at that point in the story, and every time they get together, they fall deeper into it. Even though Shane is afraid of this intimacy with Ilya, we can see that he's more open and wanting something more, while Ilya is treating it like a casual fuck a few times a year. He's just worried that Ilya isn't feeling the same emotional connection. Also, when Shane left Ilya's place abruptly, it's because it was becoming too domestic for him. It was the first time they ever called each other by their first names, and that's treading a whole new territory in Shane's mind. We can see the tone shift in their intimacy and how it feels more emotionally driven from both parties, and that frightens Shane. Well, yeah, okay, you're agreeing with the... So I'm confused because on the one hand, you also have the same reading as the previous commenter, that Shane is running away from intimacy. I just find that to be a surprising read of Shane wanting to text Ilya that they didn't even kiss. I thought it's because Shane wanted to kiss. And the reason why he deleted his own message was not fear of his own emotions, but fear of bringing it up via text and seeming needy, emotionally needy to Ilya. That's what I thought. And I think that's a fair reading. But you also agreed with the previous person that Shane left because it was too intimate. However, you also agree with me here in that you think that Ilya is just seeing it as more casual fucking. So I'm seeing different reads here of what's going on. I guess this just makes it interesting if it's not clear what's going on. Up for debate. Brooks, also, I'm not sure if anyone's told you this or if you were catching on, but Shane is actually autistic. His masking and flat voice are all deliberate from his actor Hudson Williams. I think I glanced at this comment before and saw a YouTube thumbnail about this. He incorporates his experience with his father that's on the spectrum into his own work. His micro-expressions and his ability to restrict body language is so amazing. And oh my god, I fucking love the end scene in the club. The way it was just switching back and forth between Ilya and Shane to show us that they're only ever thinking about each other. Yep, they were, when they're having their sexual experiences, they're only thinking about each other. That's interesting about autism. I'm wondering, despite, just giving representation, like if there's a reason for it in the A-plot, if it actually figures at all. I learned that from a comment that Ilya had trouble speaking English, and that explained one of the things he says in episode 1. I don't know if there's more I should learn about autism. I'm just wondering how it would affect the romantic arc. This person whose name I can't pronounce, that's what I'll call you from now on, :3. I believe the reason Shane freaked out and left Ilya on the couch is because for the first time in the relationship, Ilya used his first name and called him Shane. You're all catching on to these details. Did you catch them all yourselves? Or did you like this through osmosis? How are y'all catching on to this? And I'm not. Previously only called each other by their last names. It was getting too real for Shane and freaked out and left. Also, I believe his motivations in getting involved with Rose was to see if he could be interested in girls, not to make Ilya jealous or anything. I thought that was another reason why he was dating Rose, to see if he could be interested in girls. Yes. Maybe that didn't come across in the reaction. I'm remembering Shane left, but I thought the most straightforward reaction was just how you're hearing that this person you have emotional attachment to is sleeping around, that, okay, but you're right. Why would he leave? I don't know, maybe because I was upset? I don't know. I think it's still, my reading is a fair alternate reading. Maybe because you all have seen the next episode. I don't know. But this is a fair reading, too, that you're saying that he left because it was getting too domestic. Sure. Also, yes, that is a real stretch they do on the ice in hockey. Haha, I believe it. Rain says, I'm not sure if anyone has mentioned this yet, but in regards to the pressures they are both feeling, especially Shane, the NHL has been pretty homophobic in recent years. Like when they banned Pride gear for players on the rink, they reversed it with a lot of backlash, but that was only 2 years ago, whereas this is all a decade ago. And Daisy says, wow, I had no idea about that. Yeah, I read somewhere that there are no out gay players in the NHL right now. And that's unfortunate. So that tells me they set this in 2008 because they were planning years ahead, I suppose. There's more years to come that they've planned out before real life present day. That's interesting. I wonder what the response of the NHL and hockey fans are to this show. Mary says, "Hi Ronald, what do you think of the club scene at the end of the episode?" Wine sip moment, hold on. Particularly the song choice and the overall cinematography. Oh my goodness, it's been a week. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna have an adequate answer. I don't remember the song. As a Russian native, I have to say that the soundtrack choice and implementation blew me away. All the things she said by Tatu has a lot of lore behind it and carries great importance for the Russian LGBT community. Oh, cool. Also, on a personal note, I appreciated the show team's surprisingly thoughtful approach to the Russian plotline. It is clear that they have delved into the cultural code. The behavior of the characters is very close to reality. For example, fathers and children's relationships. This sometimes toxic, demanding, and urge to try better instead of praise are typical for Russia, especially in sports. Another commenter made me realize that. Difficulties with showing vulnerability. The Soviet... Yeah, I thought Americans take the cake for toxic masculinity, but I suppose it shouldn't be surprising that we're not alone. The Soviet Union-rooted feeling that you owe the country that raised you and must put the public good above your own. Homophobia itself. Being queer perceived as a phase or pampering. Oh, wow, so many challenges. And what an amazing attention to speech, intonation, and accent. I was amazed to see that Ilya's actor, he found out he got the role. I saw part of a video, and he got a dialect coach and learned his accent and learned some Russian in a month or a month and a half. And he's really good at this. It took me a while to realize that Ilya's actor wasn't Russian. He brilliantly captured the accent, behavior, and Slavic stare. I wonder what the Slavic stare is. Wait, let me look it up. Is there something to learn about this? A Slavic stare. It refers to a cultural stereotype of Eastern Europeans having a stern, unsmiling, or intense facial expression, often misinterpreted as unfriendly or gloomy by outsiders. Would you look for it in Google Images? Rooted in cultural norms valuing privacy, self-protection, and less overt emotional displays, rather than aggressive squinting or posing. I'm looking at AI, but I'm okay with AI for limited uses. Cool. In general, it warms my heart that so many people in the world right now like this character and sympathize with him. A niche show with a small budget and a queer story treated the portrayal of Russianness with more care and originality than a multi-million-dollar queer-baiting show like Stranger Things. Hello! Thank you. That was a very good point. P.S. I love your videos. Yes. I didn't know this was a small budget show. I don't really know the terrain of streaming shows. And it's kind of cool that this is such a breakout hit and that a queer story is I think it's the #1 show on HBO at least right now, and probably #1 of the zeitgeist after Stranger Things right now. It's cool. And it shows there's mainstream appeal for queer stories. So Stranger Things, you failed on 2 fronts here in terms of representation, and you didn't have to. However, okay, I walk back a little. I see the reason in the show paying homage to the 80s to having Russia be kind of a stereotype, but from the start, they like to subvert stereotypes from the 80s. They should have done that too here. I guess they did that with the Russian that they killed off, but he was still kind of one note. America's Great was his little not respectful. Okay, Vibraphonic Marxism. I've read this already and responded. Hey, remember that time during our Pathfinders D&D? It's a tabletop role-playing game, and I run their game. Remember that time where I said if you get queer-baited by Byler, you should go on Heated Rivalry dialysis? This is the person who... how I first found out about Heated Rivalry. One of my players told me about it in response to me talking about Byler. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you for bringing it up. I'm enjoying the show. Definitely is a dialysis, getting the minerals and stuff back in my veins. Tamia says, what do you think about the club scene where Ilya sits at a bar and sees Miles, which is Rose's gay friend who has a little crush on Shane? Oh, is that the black guy that... Oh, dances with Shane? Oh! I said he was the embodiment of their gay conscience. I was joking, but... So I don't remember it being established that Miles was Rose's friend or that he was gay. I guess that's a detail I missed. I'm a very detail-oriented person, but I don't catch things necessarily quickly. And I also don't make videos very quickly. Like my Stranger Things videos. I think my strength is more in like organizing things together and going deeper on one thing. Anyway, he instantly knows who Miles is and looks out for Rose and Shane because he probably looked up everything about Rose and his boyfriend online. True. All right. This is some subtle stuff that I'm not necessarily going to catch at first glance. Well, you have the benefit of like being a commenter. You're only going to speak on what you have authority on and what you know, whereas all of my omissions and failings are for all of you to see. Fiona says, I'm curious what you think upon rewatch about why Shane can't do this after the scene on the couch. Oh, did Shane say that specific phrase, I can't do this? Okay. You hypothesize he doesn't want to be another girl with Ilya when he said that, and then that you think he wants to be boyfriends and not just another of Ilya's sexual encounters. But I'm interested to hear about what you think about his timing of deciding he can't continue with Ilya after that moment, now that you know it's coming. Especially since Shane's the one who initiates the sex in that instance instead of going for the handhold like you said, since Ilya seemed content to just cuddle with him and pet his hair. I guess Shane does initiate the sex. I guess there's that evidence. You guys are right that Shane made it less domestic, less emotional by going for the penis. So sex was a way to avoid the emotional connection. Okay. I guess I wasn't open to it because that hadn't been my reading. This show's a little confusing because of probably the reality of their dynamic where one of them is acting on their fear while the other one isn't, and then they switch roles, and then it's vice versa. To clarify that I think Rolex is worried their box is too Tennessee line, you were confused about. I think she's saying that Rolex has a sponsored box at Wimbledon, and they want Shane to go because without him, their guest list is too Tennessee, which Shane interprets as a euphemism for too white. Oh, I see that reading. I think Rolex is worried the box is too Tennessee. Huh, that's a subtle thing to catch. So he's being snarky about how Rolex maybe uses him as a token person of color, I'm sure. Didn't they literally say that? When they sign him up? To make themselves look more inclusive and diverse. Which I think is maybe the first time in the show he's really pushed back on the way he is commodified by the business side of his career. Oh, that would be true. It's the first time. Like the first episode line about how the team is so thrilled that Shane is Asian, plus all the commercials where he seems somewhat uncomfortable and is dressed provocatively, like with the wet t-shirt and stuff. I'm learning from you guys that he was uncomfortable in the commercial shoots. I feel like, oh, we did see that scene where he has the wet shirt and his mom fixes his wet shirt. Yeah, he just seems overall, he's not liking this business side of the career. And like Ilya is feeling his own version of the pressures of staying in the closet. Fiona also says, one last thing I wanted to point out that I just noticed watching your reaction is how Ilya makes a point to have ginger ale in his fridge for Shane and literally asks, is your ginger ale cold enough? Oh. But then after Shane freaks out and leaves Ilya's house, the two scenes immediately after it, one, at the restaurant he's offered wine, he asks for ginger ale, and they don't have it and offer him sparkling water instead, and his mom says, you could have had wine, and he says, no, I can't. Then two, at the bar, he again asks for ginger ale, and the bartender judges him for it and says, I mean, I do, but... So Shane just gives in and goes, actually, I'll have a beer. And then the bartender has the audacity to flirtily say, Shane Hollander can have whatever he wants here, when Shane literally just told you he wanted a ginger ale and you immediately judged him for it. Maybe a kind of metaphor for how Ilya is the one person in Shane's life who not only sees him for who he is, but also accepts him and wants to give him what he actually wants without Shane even needing to ask. Whereas the other people in his life put their own expectations on Shane, and he either can't get what he wants elsewhere, or others judge what he actually wants and want to give him what they think he wants instead because of their skewed view of him. Okay, you guys are catching all the details. You all sound like Bylers. How close you are reading into things. I do want to see in the comments to just how much you guys just caught this on your own, because I feel a little shown up by y'all. I blame the alcohol. I had a few comments. Yeah, what happened to Scott Hunter? I am wondering if that was simply a side quest and we don't come back to Scott, which would be weird because out of 6 episodes, one of them was focused on Scott. And I still stand by my theory that if things get rocky between Ilya and Shane, that Scott could be a future love interest for Shane. But maybe it wouldn't be this season. Maybe it's a future season because we only have 2 episodes left. I also have learned that his dad has dementia, Ilya's dad. And so that would explain part why he's not just, how Russian dads are, but part of why he's just perhaps not even seeing the reality that his son is a top player of the world and is also just probably in a mental loop mourning his wife's death and just projecting everything onto him. It's just full of bitterness, which is sad. All right. So all these things that people are pointing out about Shane being afraid of emotional intimacy, and now we have this jealousy arc. I hope they don't get dropped because I felt like the end of episode 2 with Shane wanting to text Ilya that there was no kissing. I thought that would continue on, which I guess it is, them kind of taking turns, like being afraid of being more emotionally honest, I suppose. But I don't know. I'm hoping that things aren't just kind of dropped and we have to kind of put the pieces together. Maybe I'm too demanding that things be super in your face, but I don't think I'm asking for too much. I mean, that was the final note you struck at the end of episode 2. So I thought we would have continued off of that. I don't know. I gave that significance. So hopefully we're going to get picking up this mutual make each other jealous arc. And what is going on with that? I don't know. I'll think some thoughts and start recording episode 5 shortly.